What if some of the greatest ancient mysteries weren't hidden underground, but hidden in plain sight, across the earth, carved into stone, buried beneath jungles, or staring at the sky? And what if these secrets could only be uncovered from above? Today, we explore 5 astonishing discoveries that challenge our understanding of the past. Sites so massive, so strange, that they were invisible until someone looked at the Earth from a different perspective. Let's begin. Firemouth Mayan City Hypothesis. In 2012, a 15-year-old boy from Quebec, William Gaddery, stunned researchers with a theory that seemed more like science fiction than science. Fascinated by ancient civilizations and the Mayan calendar, he developed a bold idea. What if the ancient Maya built their cities to mirror constellations? Using the Madrid Codex, an ancient Mayan text, William plotted 22 known constellations and compared them to the geographic positions of 117 known Mayan cities. The result? A surprisingly close alignment. But what truly caught his attention was one star that didn't match any known archaeological site. According to his theory, a city should have existed exactly where that star pointed, deep in the Yucatan jungle. Using satellite imagery provided by the Canadian Space Agency and Google Earth overlays, William examined the unexplored area. To his surprise, the images revealed what appeared to be geometric shapes, rectangles and lines that hinted at man-made structures. He believed he had found a lost Mayan city, possibly containing a pyramid and around 30 smaller buildings. He named the site Kokchi, or Firemouth. His discovery made headlines worldwide. A teenager had used ancient texts and modern technology to potentially uncover one of the largest undocumented Mayan settlements. But the excitement didn't last long. Experts began to weigh in. Renowned archaeoastronomer Anthony Avini called the constellation city alignment creative imagination, pointing out that the matches weren't precise enough to be significant. Others, like Francisco Estradabelli, an expert in Mayan archaeology, noted that while the satellite images might show vegetation anomalies, they weren't enough to prove the presence of ancient structures. Without tools like LiDAR, which can see through dense jungle canopy, there was simply no confirmation. To this day, no excavation has taken place. The shapes remain buried beneath thick forest, their true identity unknown. Was it just an illusion of shadows and pixels? Or was Kokchi a real city waiting to be rediscovered? Whatever the answer, William's story reminds us of something powerful. Sometimes, it takes a fresh pair of eyes and a wild idea to shake the foundations of what we think we know. Stone Gates, Saudi Arabia. In 2004, Abdullah Al-Said, a neurologist and amateur archaeologist, journeyed into the harsh volcanic desert of Harat Kabar in Saudi Arabia. What he and his colleagues found were curious stacks of stones, walls barely a meter high, spread across the blackened landscape. At first, they seemed unremarkable. But years later, in 2008, when Al-Said revisited the area using satellite imagery, he saw something astonishing. From above, the stone lines formed what looked like massive gates, some stretching over 500 meters long. There were hundreds of them, clustered in groups, standing silent in the desert as if guarding something long forgotten. Because of their appearance, Al-Said called them gates. He shared his findings with Professor David Kennedy, an archaeologist from the University of Western Australia. Kennedy, stunned by the scale and density of these structures, began his own aerial survey. Flying over the region at 500 feet, he was struck not only by the gates, but by thousands of other ancient structures scattered across the barren landscape. These included tombs, walls, and the famous desert kites, used by nomads to hunt animals. But the gates were different. They weren't designed for living, hunting, or defense. They didn't connect to settlements or burial sites. They served no known purpose, and that's what made them so mysterious. Built in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth, where even vegetation struggles to survive, their sheer number and size suggest that whoever constructed them had a reason, one that modern archaeologists still haven't uncovered. Some theorize they may have marked territorial boundaries. Others wonder if they were ritualistic, part of a spiritual or astronomical practice now lost to time. No definitive tools or artifacts have been found around them, and carbon dating has been sparse. Estimates suggest they could be as old as 7,000 years. The gates challenge everything we assume about early human activity in Arabia. Nomadic tribes, moving with the seasons, shouldn't have left behind such massive, enduring signatures. And yet, they did. Today, many of these structures remain unstudied. The desert holds onto its secrets tightly. Until more comprehensive excavations take place, the stone gates will remain what they are, open-ended questions etched into the earth. Geoglyphs Kazakhstan. In 2007, Dmitry Day, a Kazakh economist and amateur archaeologist, was scanning satellite images of the vast steppes of northern Kazakhstan. He wasn't expecting much. Just patterns, terrain, maybe some hints of ancient settlements. But what he found would go on to puzzle archaeologists around the world. From the sky, something strange emerged, enormous geometric shapes carved into the earth. Day had discovered a collection of massive geoglyphs, colossal earthworks made of carefully arranged mounds, trenches, and ridges. These weren't simple lines in the dirt. Some took the form of squares, crosses, rings, and even a three-legged swastika-like figure. The most prominent among them, the Ushtagay square, covers a staggering 250,000 square meters. Its design, a square marked by a dotted X, was far too precise to be accidental. In total, over 260 formations have been identified, now referred to as the Turgai geoglyphs. Initially, some thought they might be remnants of Soviet-era land experiments. But that theory quickly fell apart. Radiocarbon dating and further analysis suggested they were created nearly 8,000 years ago, long before modern engineering or even written history in the region. So who built them? The only known culture in the area at the time was the Mayan people, a nomadic group from the Stone Age. But how could nomads, people constantly on the move, have created such massive and labor-intensive structures? There were no cities, no known central authority, and no permanent settlements to support such efforts. And yet, the geoglyphs exist. Adding to the mystery, these formations are only visible from above. At ground level, they disappear into the flat landscape. That raises an even bigger question. Why would a prehistoric culture build something that only makes sense when viewed from the sky? Were they meant for gods, celestial beings, or something else entirely? NASA has since taken an interest in the geoglyphs, using high-resolution satellite surveys to map and monitor them. But no inscriptions, artifacts, or clear evidence of their function have been found. For now, the Turgai geoglyphs remain silent, stretching across the Kazakh plains like forgotten messages written to the sky, messages whose meaning may never be understood. Cradle of humankind discovery, Australopithecus sediba. In 2008, Professor Lee Berger of the University of the Witwatersrand in Johannesburg was on a mission. Using GPS data and high-resolution satellite imagery, he set out to remap the cave systems of South Africa's Cradle of humankind, a World Heritage Site long known for its rich fossil deposits. What began as a survey of known sites quickly turned into something far more groundbreaking. By analyzing satellite images and learning how fossil-rich caves appeared from above, Berger and his team identified nearly 500 previously undocumented sites. It was a staggering expansion of known terrain, and in one of those newly found caves, something extraordinary waited beneath the surface. Inside a small, narrow chamber known as Malapa Cave, the team uncovered over 130 fossilized bones embedded in a hard, cement-like substance. Among them were the remains of a juvenile male and an adult female. Together, the bones formed one of the most complete hominid skeletons ever discovered, and not from a known species. The new species was named Australopithecus sediba. Dated to between 1.78 and 1.95 million years ago, it represented a strange hybrid. Long arms like an ape, short powerful hands ideal for climbing, and long legs capable of walking, and maybe even running, upright like a human. Its anatomy placed it somewhere between Australopithecus africanus and early Homo species. For anthropologists, this was revolutionary. Sediba wasn't just another early hominid. It might be a direct ancestor of modern humans, a potential bridge between primitive apes and the genus Homo. It offered a unique glimpse into our evolutionary path, combining traits from both sides of the divide. Even more surprising were the animals found buried alongside the skeletons. A saber-toothed cat, antelope, rabbits, and mice, all entombed in the same hardened sediment. How they died together remains unclear, though researchers believe they may have fallen into the cave through a natural death trap and were rapidly buried by flowing sediment. Berger's use of satellite technology didn't just lead to more fossils. It changed how paleoanthropologists explore the Earth. What was once combed manually for decades could now be reanalyzed from above, offering fresh eyes on ancient ground. And in this case, those eyes led to one of the most significant discoveries in the story of human evolution. Apamea looting, Syria. In the heart of western Syria, along the banks of the Orontes River, lie the ruins of Apamea, once one of the most magnificent cities of the ancient world. Founded around 300 BC during the Seleucid Empire, Apamea later became a vital part of the Roman world, home to a massive colonnaded street stretching nearly 2 kilometers and a theater that could seat over 20,000 people. At its height, Apamea may have housed up to 500,000 people, making it a bustling cosmopolitan metropolis of the ancient East. But while its grandeur faded over time, the ruins stood for centuries as a preserved testament to the city's glory. Until war changed everything. In 2011, the Syrian civil war broke out. By 2012, the town of Khalat al-Madik, built near and partially over ancient Apamea, became a conflict zone. The Syrian army shelled rebel positions in the area, and in the chaos, all formal protection of the archaeological site collapsed. What followed was one of the most devastating acts of cultural destruction in recent history. Looters, some local residents desperate for survival, others part of organized smuggling networks, descended on Apamea. Armed with shovels, bulldozers, and black market connections, they tore through the ruins in search of valuables, statues, coins, mosaics, inscriptions. What had survived for over 2,000 years was gutted in just a few months. The scale of the looting was so vast that on-the-ground assessment was impossible. But one tool helped quantify the damage: satellite imagery. Using comparative images from before and after the conflict, researchers were able to count hundreds of looters' pits scattered across the site, evidence of indiscriminate digging that destroyed priceless context even if no treasure was found. In some areas, the landscape resembled the surface of the moon. Apamea became a symbol, not only of what can be lost to war, but of how technology can bear witness when people cannot. What was once a jewel of Roman engineering is now a scarred ruin, its stolen artifacts scattered across black markets, and its secrets likely lost forever. No archaeologist can ever truly reconstruct what was torn apart. And yet, from the sky, we can still see the outlines. The shattered bones of a once great city, quietly reminding us that history isn't just lost through time, it can be stolen in an instant. Each of these mysteries reveals something deeper, not just about the past, but about how we see it. From ancient minds that shaped the earth to modern tools that rediscover them, one truth becomes clear. Some secrets are only visible when you change your perspective. Thanks for watching Epic Ancient Mysteries. If you enjoyed this journey through forgotten landscapes and unanswered questions, subscribe for more. The past isn't finished with us yet.